Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Cecilia Sabajan. I am the Database Information Specialist on Travel Oregon's Brand Stewardship team. And today we are together to learn all about Locl. And I am excited to introduce you to our speaker today, Tommy Chipman, the Vice President of Partnerships with Locl. Welcome, Tommy.
Hey Cecilia, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yep, yes.
Okay, great. Um, I'll just get going then. Hi everybody, how are you? Uh, as Cecilia mentioned, I'm Tommy Chipman. I am the VP Partnerships at Locl. I've been here for about a year. Um, and I've got about 10 years of experience working with small businesses and Fortune 100. I spent almost 10 years at Visa. Um, in the merchant sales and solutions group for emerging markets. So a lot of like cash displacement, working with small businesses and large platforms that service them, whether that be Square or Salesforce or even platforms like Passport Parking or things like that. A lot of sort of transactional. So I have a really good familiarity with businesses and sort of the challenges that they face, and then things that they can do to one, make their businesses run smoothly and make their lives easier. Um, I will. Um, I'm coming to you from Bend, Oregon. I've been here for about 6 years now. This is Cecilia and I have done this a few times, so I may be familiar to some of you. And this is a Locl is a benefit to you from Travel Oregon. Um, you have my email address here. We are an Oregon-based company, and questions and things do go directly to us. We are growing as a team, so you may start seeing new emails and new support systems and things like that as well. Locl was founded 5 years ago. Actually, this number needs to be updated. There's about 35,000 platform locations on our platform, and we work with hundreds of small businesses, multi-location brands, like large franchises that you may recognize, marketing agencies, and these destination marketing um, organizations. We also do have strategic partnerships with payments platforms such as Square. So if you are a Square user, you can actually get Locl through the Square Marketplace. I would, however, recommend that you use, we don't have um, code yet for Travel Oregon businesses. So I would recommend that you use the Travel Oregon link. But once you have logged in and gotten your free benefit, you can actually log into to Locl through Square. So when you're in your Square app, it's actually integrated in there and you can manage from the Square app, which is really helpful. And we are actually connected to Square's APIs. So you are, we actually get information from Square. So business information, things like that, which is great. Um, I'm going to just sort of go over the purpose of this call and webinar today is just sort of go over what are listings, what's the opportunity, why is it difficult to manage them, why is it important that you manage them, what is a directory, what is the part that Google plays, and then specifically towards how can Locl help you do this as a free benefit from Travel Oregon. So we know today that the marketing sort of technology landscape is really difficult and complicated. And as we go into the sort of world of AI, there's tons of new tools and tons of things happening that can make it even more complicated. And as a business owner, we know that you may not be a marketing professional. You are a winemaker or a retailer or a restaurant or chef. And that's what you are good at. You shouldn't have to spend a lot of time and money on managing marketing so that people can find you. And it is, I don't want to call it a necessary evil, but I think it is a necessary, um, a necessary modern opportunity that we need to make sure that we're sort of paying attention to. And the reason I say this is because the word sort of SEO is the word SEO can be sort of a scary word. It can sort of be a a dirty three-letter acronym. It's complicated. And here at Locl, what we really try to talk to businesses about is to think about your business listing as an asset. The same as like a 401k or a credit score or something that you may have that if you manage or maintain or monitor, there is a high level benefit to you and to your business. And this can be done really simply. Back to sort of basics here. We all know Google, for the time being, is sort of remains king or queen, and it is the gold standard of a business listing and of search in general. So 93% of searches are all happening on Google. This number fluctuates a little bit, especially with sort of ChatGPT and Microsoft and all these other platforms making big pushes and gunning for Google, but still remains the most massive part of traffic. 78% of these results offline and result in an offline purchase, and 45% of searches on Google are local in nature. We all know this. We've been traveling, even in your hometown, you may search for things like a plumber, and you'll use Google Maps for that to see someone close to find the reviews. So it is incredibly important that you're aware of local search and its nature, and that it's sort of modern SEO. And that people who are searching specifically for local things, they really have an intent to purchase. And so what we really want to do is make sure that we're putting all of our business information in the best format in front of them. And as I mentioned, we sort of like to stay away from the term SEO, and so business listing management is the new SEO for small businesses and for businesses in general. Your listing, again, is an asset. So if you enhance and manage this asset, the information that's available to your potential customers, you're going to have a much greater opportunity of them finding you and seeing you. And Google Maps is only a piece of that puzzle. So right now, the way that we manage this and what users see is if I'm on my computer or on my phone, they'll search for, let's say, ramen near me, right? And they'll get this map and you'll see all the restaurants near you. And the way that you as a business manage your listing, specifically on Google, is the Google Business Profile Manager. There are a couple steps to claiming businesses, and we can talk about this later in the presentation and webinar here. But you have a login, you log into Google Business Profile Manager, and you essentially are shown all of the attributes and information about your business. You confirm them, you can change them. That's business hours, services. There are things for helping search clarification like categories and secondary categories. And all the pieces of information, including URLs, social, phone numbers, are all helpful in the Google algorithm. And every time that there is a change or you make a change, you sort of get bumped up in the algorithm. So it's really important. You may think, hey, all my information has been correct for the last 5 years. I've run a winery and nothing has changed. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting found. So changing descriptions for, let's say, holidays or for different seasonality, like summertime versus, October in winery land, when that is, the busy time of year for harvesting, like you could change your description. You may have different events and you may be doing different tours and things like that. So anytime you're making a change, this is helpful. We all know that Google Business Profile is clunky. It's hard to work with. And we are an authorized Google partner. And they have actually told us, hey, we're not a user experience company, we're a data company. And so we know that all of these tools are can be relatively difficult to manage. They're not really designed to be super easy and fluid and user friendly because there's so much information in them. So this is important because this sales cycle of, hey, I want to find something and I'm going to get directions to it, I'm going to make a purchase, happens millions of times a day. We've all, excuse me. We've all done this. We search for best ice cream, and those terms are really important. So it might not just be ice cream. It might be, you might search things like dairy-free ice cream or, pet-friendly outdoor ice cream. And so making sure that categories and information and description, this all plays into when you show up in a search. I find the location, I click get directions, And then, 90-ish% of the time when you get directions or contact, you're likely to visit and make a purchase. So this becomes a really important sales cycle for us, and for business owners. And what we know, not only from Google, but just from in general of online and digital user experiences, is that accurate and consistent, compelling information win potential customers. This gets really important, especially if you're in a space that is highly competitive. Restaurants, hotels, there's lots of options out there. So how do you stick out? How do you make sure that your information is popping up? MVM Ventures is actually a Oregon-based business. Corey Rust, I think, is the owner. He's a fantastic business owner and has been using Locl for a really long time. And you'll see like 5 stars, 340 reviews. Corey uses a platform to post photos, automatically post photos, and social posts directly to Google. He has really great content. Obviously, he's flying around in airplanes and doing boat tours, so really incredible photos, which are really impactful when people are looking for events and tours in the state of Oregon. Conversely, what we know is even if you're an incredible business, if your business listing is bad, or weak or inaccurate, you can lose customers. So this is a great example, Division Auto Repair Clinic. Bad picture. Looks like that's somewhere that I don't want to be. So making sure that you have the ability to, you're posting photos of your business, that they're showing up first, that the information is correct, that holiday hours and hours are correct, gets really, really important here. And this is even if you're highly rated, even if business people are telling clients online that this is the most incredible experience that you've had. If the picture is of dumpsters in the back, people are going to say, well, I'm going to go to the listing below this where the pictures of the pizza are awesome, right? So this is incredibly important. What is a listing? Actually, I think what is a listing and what makes a good listing? So a business listing is, I'm going to date myself here, but is essentially information about your business that is posted publicly. And what a lot of us may be used to is like yellow pages. We all got the book, we would look and we would try to find businesses and places to go. This obviously has become digitized, and a directory is essentially where that information lives. And as I've mentioned, Google is the gold standard of business listing directories. There are hundreds of business listing directories, Apple Maps, Uber, Lyft, even different types of directories. So there aren't just maps directories, there are voice directories. So Siri, Alexa, Cortana, those are all voice directories. So they have different databases with information. So, and what we know is that they all have attributes in common. Categories, reviews, descriptions, photos, they all have these attributes that essentially are linked to information about your business. The more information that you have about your business, the more complete the listing is, and the higher it will show in all of these different directories algorithms. Now, some directories may not be as applicable to your business. So there are specific directories to doctors' offices, there are specific directories to automotive, there are specific directories to tourism. Google is sort of a catch-all, but it does become really important to make sure that your information is across all of these directories. And we'll talk a little bit about what tools are on Locl to help you do that as well. And lastly here is that volume and frequency keeps you relevant. So as I had mentioned in the example previously, even though your business information may not have changed recently, keeping things fresh and doing some sort of activity, and that can be as simply as responding to a review, or as simple as updating hours for a new holiday. Like, well, now that Juneteenth is a new federal holiday. Do you have that in your Google listing? And do you have different holiday hours for that specific holiday? So making sure that your information, that you're being active on your listing is really important. And this doesn't have to be an onerous task. This can be as simple as using the Locl platform to set up automated posts, or We are rolling out new tools in the near future for some automated changes to descriptions and categories to help make sure that your listing stays fresh. What is the solution to doing this? I've mentioned that the marketing space is relatively difficult. You may not be a marketing wizard. You're running a business, not a marketing agency. And what we've done at Locl, and specifically our founder and CEO Joel, was in the agency space, and this was a problem that he saw. So what we've done is sort of added this value layer, what's Locl. And Locl, the really nice way to think of this is sort of a visualization layer and partner on top of Google. So everything that you do in Locl will actually get pushed to Google and to other directories, and it makes it much easier for you to manage. The user experience is very easy. The analytics are very easy to understand where you're doing well, where people are searching for you, where they're coming from, and how often they may be purchasing or interacting with your listing, like clicking contact, call, or get directions. I'm going to spend a little bit of time going through the platform. Before I do, Cecilia, was there anything from sort of an educational listing high level thing that I didn't cover that you think would be helpful?
No, I think you covered it all. And I do just think that the um, reminder that activities you make in Locl that impact your Google business profile send signals to Google that you are relevant.
Mhm.
So keeping your hours updated, like going in to Locl today and confirming the Juneteenth hours, confirming 4th of July, that's going to send a signal to Google that they trust you. And hopefully, you'll be appearing more. Yeah, that's great.
Great
I'm
point.
excited for the demo.
Great. So before I go into demo, I'm going to sort of go over just the platform as a whole. While we're here right now, if you don't have Locl, you can click here. You can also go to locl.io/travel Oregon, and that is their website. You can get started for free. You can actually sign up right now while we're doing this. You click sign up, you can create an account, connect your Google business profile. If you haven't claimed your business profile, there is information on the locl.io knowledge base. In the top right-hand corner, there's a menu button. You can go in there, and there are specific instructions on how to claim a business. Google has gotten relatively strict with claiming businesses and verifying businesses. This is because there was the amount of fraud was relatively high for, unfortunately, people sort of claiming businesses that weren't theirs. So a lot of times they'll ask for phone numbers, or they'll have you scan a QR code, or they will ask for information. It can get complicated. If you do have problems or trouble, you are more than welcome to file a ticket with Locl, and we can help you as best to the best of our ability. We're obviously not Google, so we don't have the ability to make changes in the Google platform from like an administrative perspective, but we can point you to things that will help you do this. Complete sign up and then complete the recommendations. So Google Locl also will provide you recommendations of things that you may need to do, like, hey, you don't have a description or you haven't entered categories. This helps sort of guide you to make sure that your listing is up to date and you have all of the information that is required and helpful. I think that is it here. And just for everyone's information here, signing up for Locl takes about anywhere between 4 and 8 minutes. So it's real quick to sign up and really easy to do. We can also, if you're sort of unsure, like, hey, how is my listing right now? Is it good? Is it bad? And when you go to the Locl website, there's a box that pops up and it can allow you to generate a score. You can do this without signing in to Locl. You can actually just give us your email. We'll send you a PDF that is a score. And you can also do this after you've signed in. We'll actually automatically create a score for you. And that you do not need to connect your Google business profile to do this. We use the Google Places API. So if your business is on Google, we'll find it. And then what we'll do is run a scan. And the scan is a proprietary formula of how much activity do you have? Are you responding to reviews? Is all your information correct? How often have you made changes? And it's like a credit score. So it's out of 850, and it will fluctuate depending on what you're doing. So the nice thing here is when you start using Locl, your score will go up. You'll notice that your activity score goes up or your consistency score goes up. So this is a really nice way to sort of gauge how are you doing right now. And again, this is free to do, and you can also do it for any other businesses. If you're curious how some of your competitors stack up to your listing score, you can do this with any listing. The meat and potatoes of Locl here is our listing management. And so once you've signed in and connected your Google business profile, we essentially now have a token, and we can access your Google business profile, make changes to your listing. And in the manage locations tab, if you have more than one location, you can add. What we do is we take all of the locations that are associated with your email, and we put them into Locl. You can enroll them or unenroll them because this is free to Travel Oregon tourism and entertainment businesses. You can add as many locations as you want here. And you can actually make changes across locations at the same time or make changes to locations one at a time. In the Manage Locations tab is this attributes page: info, hours, categories, attributes, and services, and then profile lock, which I'll talk a little bit about here. This is all the basic information: name, descriptions. We will help you with keyword enhancements in your description to help with the Google algorithms. Business hours, holiday hours, secondary categories and primary categories, special hours, address, and then URLs. URLs specific to social and to like direct websites. This information is really easy to do in Locl. In Google, it can be a little bit overwhelming. There are thousands, if not tens of thousands of categories. You can actually search for categories. We'll make recommendations for you. So this is really simple to manage, and this is something we recommend doing immediately. Attributes and services are what do you provide as a business, and the more detailed you can get here, the better. It ranges from things like outdoor seating and heating to dog friendly to specific services for specific businesses, like what type of mechanic are you, or things like that. And again, the more information that you have, attributes and services here, the more likely people are to find exactly what they're looking for. And then lastly, here on the top right-hand corner is profile lock. And profile lock is, I don't know if anyone is familiar with this, when you're in Google as a user, like if I'm searching for pizza or Starbucks, for example, and I show up to a Starbucks on a Tuesday and it let's say it's closed, I can actually make a request to Google and say, hey, this is closed, and they'll update it immediately. They'll say Starbucks closed on Tuesdays. This is really a interesting feature from Google, and I'm not 100% sure why they do it, but we all know that things happen and businesses can be closed randomly. COVID, plumbing, whatever it may be, right? So this can happen. What Profile Lock does is it actually prevents any unwanted changes. It will show you what changes were made and then what we reverted them to. So we'll actually revert them back to whatever you've had in Locl, so that, for example, business name, if you're Jackson's Corner Restaurant and someone changes the name to whatever, we'll actually revert it back to the correct name. And there are sort of fraudsters out there, depending on the type of business. We've worked with some businesses in the past that have had like attacks where people are changing the names of their businesses. Super unfortunate, but Profile Lock does prevent that and shows the changes that we've prevented and reverted. And you have to manually turn this on. So you go into Profile Lock, top right-hand corner, and toggle the switch on. Attribute management, as I mentioned, this is all the services, highlights, offerings, amenities, crowds, so on and so forth. So all these can be entered, searched, and easily added to your business listing. Reputation manager, this is a really great tool. So if you think of a business listing, a part of the business listing not only is the information about your business, but the reputation of the business: stars, reviews, and questions and answers. So there is a feature in Google where you can ask a question, and the owner or authorized administrator for the Google listing can actually answer the question, like, do you sell out of donuts or whatever it may be, right? Or like, what's the best time to come or things like that. What's weather or what is the dress code or things like that. And you can answer these questions in Locl's reputation manager. We'll show you number of reviews. We'll show you unanswered. You can sort by location, sort by number of stars. And we also have a two automated tools. One, you can actually create canned responses, and with one click, just quickly respond. We also are rolling out automated responses. So you can actually turn on a toggle now, or you can respond to 4+ reviews automatically. We are tastefully using some large language models to take all of the reviews in our platform and write similar review responses to 4+ reviews. So this is a really way to it does two things for you. One, it sort of reduces the need to go in, log in, and respond. It also counts towards activity. So all of these responses to reviews show activity in your listing, which helps in the search features of Google. Content management. So in Locl, you can post. I want to make the distinction between social media posts and Google. So you can connect your Instagram and Facebook here, so Meta, and you can post directly to Instagram and Facebook from Locl. And then Google itself has native posting. So you may have seen on Google Maps, if you search a particular place, they may have a product announcement or an event or an offer that is shown on the Google Maps. This is technically a Google social post. You can upload like photo albums to Locl so that you can use them. And then you can go into posts, create a post. You can also schedule them out up to, I think, 4 or 5 years in advance. So we do have some clients who will go in once a month, schedule 20 posts for the year, and they just automatically post to Google. This is a really handy feature and really easy to use. You can also, from the review page, you can actually grab really great reviews and embed them and use them as posts. So this is a really great way to sort of show like, hey, people love us. Look at these great reviews. The analytics feature in Google, the analytics is totally dependent on what sort of business owner and person you are, like how much do you want to know. We compile 18 months of data. Google only allows you to see 3. And what we'll do is show you website clicks, call clicks. We'll show you by location. We'll show you zip code searches, keyword terms, where clients and customers are coming from. This is a combination of Google Analytics data and listing data as a whole. So we're looking at all of the interactions and local listings to give you an overview of information, including how much revenue you could be generating by managing and enhancing your listing. And how we do that is if you add your average order value, which is you can find on your processor statement, like what your average ticket is. You can put that in the managed locations. There's a tab I'll show everyone here in our quick demo where you can add that number, and we'll actually calculate a forecast of how much additional revenue that you're generating by enhancing your listing. So if you're a restaurant and your average order value is $120, and we're seeing a 10% increase in direction requests and call clicks, we'll say that, between 70 and 80% of those people are purchasing, and you're generating an extra $3,000 a month by managing your listing. So this is a really nice way to sort of see like the work and the partnership that Travel Oregon is in with Locl is really beneficial to your business. Directory Sync is a new tool for us, and I'll let Cecilia sort of talk about the availability there. It is a feature that you need to request from us. It is available to our paid clients. There is a discount available to Travel Oregon users. What we do is we take all this information from your Google business listing and we push it to the most popular directories like Apple, Bing, Amazon, Alexa, Yellow Pages, all of these other directories. And they all have essentially public information hooks that we can take the relevant information that they have from Google and push it, and we'll show you a report of how many of these directories you're on, whether or not your information is correct. And I'll show a quick demo of this as well. I guess I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna stop sharing for just a minute and pull up a demo. Cecilia, if you want to add anything here, please feel free.
I just dropped into the chat a little bit ago. You had mentioned the steps to sign up for Locl, which are super, super easy if your Google Business profile is already claimed or verified. However, if you are a business that is having issues with claiming or verifying your Google Business profile, or say you're having a really unique problem with your Google business listings, like maybe there's a duplicate and you need help understanding if you can delete one, if you can merge one. Travel Oregon also partners with a company called Miles Partnership. They are very, very knowledgeable in the Google business profile space. So Travel Oregon offers free one-on-one support. We call them office hours. You can sign up via the link in chat, and it basically starts with, when you sign up, just some information about what your issue is. You'll have a 15-minute video call with a specialist over there, but they can be really helpful for helping you get on the right path with Google Business Profile, and then help get you signed up with Locl. So that is all I have to say. Just another pitch for services. So on to the demo, please.
Thanks, Cecilia. This is Envy Adventures, which I mentioned earlier. This is Corey and his business. And we do have multiple partnerships with DMOs. Travel Portland is actually sort of bundled under the Travel Oregon relationship. So Corey has gotten this specifically from Travel Portland. Everything is the same. The only thing that you may see is brought to you by, down here will be Travel Oregon. So this is the managed locations page. I'm going to start here with the overview. So once you've logged in to Locl and connected your Google Business profile, you will show you sort of tasks, what our recommendations are, wins, sort of time that you've saved here, reputation, responding, post and create and post create and or schedule posts, new post submissions, all these sort of things that you can do. And you can check them off. Yes, I've done them. No, I haven't. Business score. This is the score that I mentioned here. So this is the ability for you, once you've signed in, we'll automatically create a score. You can view the score. This is what it looks like. As I mentioned, it's sort of like a credit score. So Corey here is 540 out of 850. Foundational, recent activity score, and directory score. So the directory score is 0 unless you have enrolled or purchased directory sync, which is where we push to those top 50 directories, and we weight that out of 250 points. In this score, we'll show you the sort of lifetime of your score. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? And then down here, this is really helpful for businesses just to know, like, what directories am I on? Am I on Apple? I'm on Bing. And, you know, are these important to me, and do I need to make updates? What information is here? And then directory sync, as I mentioned, actually, let me go back real quick. And then again, you can generate scores for other businesses. So if you're curious how your competitors may be doing or other information, you can type in a business name, run a new scan, and see that information. Directory sync right now, again, as I had mentioned, is available upon request. We are changing this with Travel Oregon to sort of have it available. The reason that it's not always visible is we just didn't want partners of Travel Oregon to feel like we're sort of nickel and diming them. It is a free service. Locl Premium is a free service. Directory sync is an additional service that Locl provides. There's a hard cost for us to provide it, and I know that Travel Oregon does have some relationship with us to provide it in some cases. And then if it's something that you want to purchase, you can. And it is $79 for a year. It stays your, if you're using Premium and you have directory sync, any changes that you make in Premium will automatically push to directory sync and these other locations. For example, I'm actually going to just pull up our test sample report. So you'll see your business name, that it's enrolled, and you can actually go and view a sample report. And we'll show you the sync overview, how many of these directories we have are complete, how many we've enrolled your business in, and how many we've synced. And I just want to make the distinction between enrolled and synced. Enrolled means we've sent the information to the directory and they're processing it, putting it into their system, and synced means it's actually updated and live. And so, for example, in this report, we show all of these details, whether it's has it been is the order status complete, and if it's complete, that means that we've enrolled it and it's been synced, and you can actually click and view the listing on the platform for those directories that we do have the listing link. So like Lyft, for example, you could click view listing and we'll go out to Lyft and show you your maps listing in Lyft and the information that we've input. Up here is the information that we have updated. And depending on the directory, they'll have sort of fields. So we'll push all the fields that are relevant that we have information for to these directories to keep you updated across directories. Performance, you can click here, and this again is the analytics page that I showed. So if you have multiple locations, you can select all of them. You can compare across dates. You can compare to previous period and previous years. So if, for example, you have a really big event, let's say Memorial Day, and you want to know how you did last year versus this year and what you did. Here, Corey has input his average order value. So we do calculate a calculated revenue. So from May 1st to May 31st, we saw a 7,000% increase versus the previous period for revenue, which is really awesome for the MVM Ventures team. We're showing website clicks, call clicks, and we show increases versus previous periods in last year. How consumers found you. Did they find you on Facebook or Google or Yelp or TripAdvisor, where this information is coming from? And then top search terms. So this is really helpful when you're writing your description. We also make recommendations in the description. Are you using top search terms? This really helps the algorithms find you, for example, helicopter. Helicopter tours is something they do. People will search helicopter tours Portland, right? So this is super helpful. And then these are just some high-level overviews of map views and search views, and then additional customer insights, photo views, reviews, conversations. Conversations are the Q&A. I'm going to go to photos and videos here. This is where you can add collections. So if you have, lots of photos on your computer, or you've had a professional photographer come in and take pictures of your food or your products, you can just upload those albums here. And you'll have the ability to click on them and use them. And here, right underneath photos and videos, is posts. So this is where you can post to Facebook, Instagram, and Google directly. So you can see all posts, see the post activity. You can see what posts are pending. So the MVM Ventures team does a really good job of scheduling posts out. So this post is scheduled for April 5th, 2026. As I mentioned, some people do post way out into the future, which is great. It reduces the time to management. You can view details of the post, what channel it is, whether it's been published, information there. You can edit the posts and you can copy to a new post. So if one post worked really well and you want to do it again, you can copy it and create it again. Up here are the types of posts that Google allows. What's new, events and offers. These are all really great. We know that events work really well. If it's a holiday or a specific sale or event that you're doing, you can post specific, like here's an offer, $100 off Main St. Helens tours. It's all powered by Google. So the codes are all in here, which is great. So this is really easy to do through Locl. Reputation. So this is where you can manage. You can monitor and respond. And here's the questions and answers. Pop in. There's none here. But this is if someone had asked specifically, like, do you recommend using Dramamine on a boat trip or whatever it may be, you can answer here and interact with your customers. Here's the growth for reviews. And then down here is the sort of bread and butter where we're able to search by haven't replied, search by stars. And then here's the quick replies. So the MVM Ventures team has a whole bunch of auto replies for 4+. You can set them, you can turn them on, and then current quick quick reply, excuse me. So if you click on reply, it actually will show the pre-canned replies that you've created. You can just click one and then hit post. So it saves you some time. And then manage locations. This, again, as I mentioned, sort of is the bread and butter. This shows all of the locations that the Ending Adventures team manages. So they can, if you want, in this case, you can select multiple and edit them at the same time, or you could jump in and edit one. This is also where you add your average transaction value. So if you know, as a restaurant, it's $150 on average, you can add that information here and it will calculate in the revenue calculations in our analytics. This shows that whether or not these are enrolled in our premium or enrolled in directory sync, and then the cost here is 0, right? So for example, if we click on edit, this is where all of the attributes, information, services, and profile lives. Business descriptions, visitor traffic and ranking scores. This is for Google. This helps default for organic search traffic. It allows us to get more information. You can enable it or unenable it. I recommend keeping it enabled. Categories. So again, as I mentioned, Google is difficult. There's lots of categories. You can actually just type in here, like tours or whatever it may be. And like balloon ride agency, all this, Google has tons and tons, and it's really hard to find them on Google, but very easy to find them in Locl. Business hours, and then special holiday hours. You can, again, here's Juneteenth. You can confirm hours. These are new hours or holidays that have not been entered. So this is all easy to do here. Website URLs, phone numbers, all this information all lives here and can be easily edited. And then again, over attributes and services, what information might be pertinent to customers about your business or services, and accessibility, amenities, crowds, are children allowed, so on and so forth. And then here's profile lock. This is the local specific tool where we prevent changes to your profile from outside sources. It is turned on. And then down here, you can actually see if there's any location edit history. In this case, there is not. You can actually do date selection too. Like, hey, were there a lot of changes last month? We had a COVID outbreak or whatever. Maybe you can see specifically what had happened. Connected accounts. This is a way for you to quickly and easily see what accounts you've connected here. And you can add more Google accounts or add your Facebook, Instagram, and Google Analytics account here. And then lastly, I just wanted to, up here in the top right-hand corner, you can go to my account. This is password information. And then My Teams is actually a great tool. So you can invite investors or owners or third-party marketing teams to Locl to actually manage. You can grant them permissions. So maybe you don't want them to have access to everything, just to reviews. You can do this here, and then you can type in an email address and invite people to Locl. And then again, if you have questions, we're actually rolling out a new support system right now. There will be a little icon here in the bottom right-hand corner where you can ask us questions immediately in real time. We'll file tickets automatically for you. This will still be available, so you can file a support ticket, and our team will get to you within 24 to 48 hours. You click submit here, and the ticket will be submitted. That was a really quick run through. I'm going to stop. Cecilia, is there anything that I didn't cover that you have questions on?
No, but I was thinking fondly about the social connector. I think that's one of the coolest features that Locl has, where if you enable the social connector, you can connect your Facebook and or your Instagram to your Locl account, and Locl literally pulls in your content from those social media channels, and you can revise them and make it a post on your Google business, and you can even add like call to action buttons. So it's an amazing time saver.
Yeah, so I'll stop there. It's 12:45. I think we can do some questions and answers. I think that was a really quick one run through, but I think that it was all the real high level and helpful, valuable things that Locl provides.
Yes, and for those attending today, you may have noticed Locl does a lot. So I think the ask here now that you've learned about Locl, it's to sign up for Locl and get in there and click on that manage locations menu option and make sure your business info is accurate. And then since we were talking about making sure holiday hours were in there, make sure your Juneteenth and July 4th hours are set. Tommy, we don't have any questions in the Q&A, but I do have a couple questions from people when they registered that we
Sure.
can go over. One is about deleting images. So can a business delete images uploaded to their Google profile that have been added by others? And the example that this person gave is a really good one. They work at a museum where the exhibits are paid. So if they have a whole bunch of images with cool things that you've had to pay to see, is there a possibility that Google would take that down at with a business request?
Yeah, that's a really good question and a feature that we're working towards. It's not available through Google third-party API connections to remove photos. You can go into Google and go into the Google business profile and actually report a photo. There isn't any way to say to just like manage user-generated photos, unfortunately. You could, however, say, hey, I'm reporting this photo. This is paid content or something like that. We are working to try to figure out a way to be a little bit more management focused on those photos, but there isn't really anything that we can do there. It's a great question. I wish I had a better answer. But you can always go into Google Business Profile and report photos.
And I have done that before, and Google is going to ask you, like, they supply like 5 general categories, like this is not of my business, this is
Inappropriate. Yeah.
inappropriate, and I do think they have an other, so I think that's where this specific example would lie, and I have had success with them being taken down, and
Yeah.
actually at a reasonable amount of time too. I was a little shocked.
Yeah.
And we have another photo question: how to use the photos and videos, and why photos get rejected, and how often they should be updated. I can answer the updated question. We typically recommend like 3 new photos every month because that's keeping you engaged with Google Business through Locl. So 5 new or different images once a month. And then Tommy, I don't know if you have insight on Google rejecting images. I haven't had experience with that.
I haven't either. And I don't know. There's been so many changes to images and image classification, and like a lot of platforms are using AI to decide whether or not images could be offensive. Um, I don't have a lot of insight into why they reject them. All the directories are different. They all have different guidelines, terms, policy, privacy. Unfortunately, we're living in a world where a lot of things are automated and it's very black box. We do not have any insight into why that happens. Locl itself does not. We submit to the directories and they have the final say. So um, that is an answer that I don't have. And I feel like if I did, we would all have a lot more money if we knew exactly how Google worked. So
The big mystery. I just remembered something as you were speaking. I do remember I learned at a Google My Business session. Google actually prefers images where you can't see people's faces.
yeah,
I think that that's due to privacy, so that might be one of them. Um,
yeah. And I think too, as we continue down this road of AI and generated images, there's going to be probably tools that will automatically blur faces and do things like that. We don't have any of those tools integrated into Locl at this point. So again, it is sort of a black box. It depends on countries and it depends on states, even like California has the CCA, or CCPA, which is the California Consumer Privacy Act. So it's all very different depending on location and region and states and all those different things. A lot of times third-party platforms do a lot of this. So it's just, and things are changing so rapidly right now. It's really hard to keep up on why things are happening or not happening. So I don't have a great answer for that. And sorry.
Yeah, this could be Miles Partnership may able to
Yeah.
shine some light on that. Like if you're experiencing this
Uh,
frequently, I mean, I would
yeah.
say that, that sounds like a problem if you're like every single image you're uploading is rejected. So I'd
Yeah.
recommend a one-on-one with Miles
And I think,
Partnership and to speak specific to what you are experiencing.
yeah, and I think it's a really good topic for a knowledge base article for us. Like, what are Google's photo guidelines? And Facebook's and Instagram, like a link to their photo guidelines for businesses. I'm sure there's a best practices out there somewhere. Um, we'll look for that and we'll see if we can't get it onto our knowledge base. And I'll send you the link, Cecilia, when we have something published.
Great. I think that is all of the questions that I have. Um, so
Awesome.
a very informative, almost 1 hour on local. As I said at the top of our time, everyone who registered or attended today will be getting an email from myself with a link to the recording and a link to the slide deck and a few other links to more information. So if anyone thinks of any questions once we're off the webinar today, you can always email integrated@traveloregon.com.
Awesome. Thanks again for having us, Cecilia. And, we value our partnership. And if there's any questions, my email's there, Tommy@Locl.io. You can also email success@Locl or support@Locl or file a ticket if you're having issues getting logged in. And we'll get back to you as quickly as we can.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And everyone enjoy your day. Until next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.